Good afternoon. Not hearing that voice. Are you young men and women? Then good afternoon. Yes, I'm happy. You're energetic. Which is the single largest data? It's a government concern. I'm giving you a quiz. Asking a question. Which is the single largest government agency to maintain a huge or a massive data and manages the data in an encrypted form? Which is one single government agency which has an encrypted data, massive data on a national scale, government agency, one single government agency which maintains huge data, big data, massive data in an encrypted form. Can you name a company? It's a government concern. Even from the faculty, I can ask even the faculty teaching data, science and all about data science, data structure. You want to teach DBMS and whatnot, data mining, and so on and so forth. I want to know one single government agency which has got the big data and manages it in an encrypted form. That's right. Absolutely. You stand up and say, tell now.
Sir, National Informatics Center.
That's right.
Nice.
That's one National Informatics Center. And they are encrypting it through a language called steganography. Steganography, you know, right? Am I right? Steganography. Then next is the DRDO. Any government website, if you log in, it is nic.in. They have got a huge data, a big data, fully organized. You talk about link or hyperlink and you get on anything you want to know about a particular, say, if I log into Delhi High Court, I want to know the age of the judge concerned, Delhi High Court judge, when he or she became the High Court judge, when is she retiring or he is retiring as a High Court judge, when a Supreme Court judge joined, what was his career, how he started as an advocate, when he went on which from which date he became a senior advocate, then from which date he became a judge of the High Court or the Supreme Court, the day on which he was confirmed. So all this is stored on massive servers maintained by the National Informatics Center. It is a one government agency which has got the massive data, a big data, and they're highly organized. At the click of the button, nic.in, any website you open, you can get to know a plethora of information on that. Then there comes the VLSI. I'm told the data, science, all data. You want to pursue data science. And VLSI now, how many of you know the full form of VLSI? I'm very happy. At least one lady can stand up and tell me what is VLSI? One student may, yeah, please stand up and. Very large scale integration. It is in the context of what?
It is chip manufacturing and fabrication process.
You take this back.
It is chip manufacturing and fabrication process.
Very large scale integration in context of what? Very large scale integration of what? What do you want to integrate?
The chipsets and stuff. Chipsets.
Yeah, yes.
Integration of transistors, integration of.
Yes, yes, you're right. Absolutely. So all those who are pursuing VLSI and data science, they should know the basics of how is it useful and how can you be data scientist, or how can you be design and fabrication of a microchip. VLSI is the most sought after, so also data structure. I mean, absolutely, path-breaking research is taking place. And it runs into a couple of lakhs of papers, research papers, which need to be compiled and kept in an encrypted form so that it doesn't get, it's a copyright, intellectual property right. I have generated the research. I want to prove it to the world that this is how my research can help a common man on the street. A lot of documentation takes place when you're doing research on a given subject. So whose data is so valuable, and to store the data in a highly encrypted form shall be the job assigned to the data science people. A couple of crores of miles away is the moon, right? And how do you calculate all that? And all those calculations, data science will have to maintain, or the perigee, the apogee, and the itinerary of a particular satellite. So all the itinerary of a satellite, right from the launching pad to the planet that is being launched, the whole thing is stored in the data. Any error taking place, recorded there. Immediately the data scientists tell, this is where we have gone wrong. You can replay the whole thing. So is data science being used in the aviation industry also? What is a black box? What is black box? It contains the flight data. So data scientists will be required everywhere and anywhere. Even during the course of a launching of a rocket, how was it launched? Whether it's a cryogenic engine, or it's a hydrogen engine, or what fuel was used, the type of the fuel. So data science is a complete science. Enormous data needs to be stored. So much of research is taking place in the field of medical science, particle physics, now quantum physics, quantum mechanics, quantum communication, quantum computing, and all that data will be your responsibility to maintain the sanctity of the data. So you have the data in a perfect form, uncorrupted data. There are 30 lakh jobs awaiting for those people who have joined the VLSI course. People are quite ignorant about it. The Micron has already come, set up a plant in Gujarat. Vedanta is already working. And so Tata has gone into design and fabrication of microchips and semiconductors, and has put up a semiconductor plant in Assam. There are 30 lakh jobs awaiting. But not very many people are aware of it. They are living under utter ignorance. So VLSI course, not very many people are joining it. They think it's an alien subject. We don't know what about it. How many of you know about Sudhanshu Mani? Have you heard of a man called Sudhanshu Mani? How many of you have traveled by Vande Bharat? How many of you have traveled by Vande Bharat? Because you don't know the name of the man who is the brain behind launching Vande Bharat, and with how much of resource constraint, financial constraints. He was an engineer, mechanical engineer, and he launched the first Vande Bharat with all these resource constraints, financial constraints, and he had to take it up with the railway board, and then around 200 crores he got, though he invested much less in the Vande Bharat project. His story will be played here before you. Look at it, how a contemplative mind, a mind which contemplates, which concentrates and which focuses on a given object, can produce wonders, And it benefits millions of people, a huge magnitude of people, vast magnitude of people can be benefited. Vande Bharat, each one of you can travel and feel proud of the Indian Railways. But you will not be knowing that there's another train which is in the pipeline. Hyperloop is technology, is a tube rail. We're running at a speed of 1,000 kilometers per hour. And who are the people behind that? Only 76 students of IIT Madras have done that on a 1 kilometer long track and runs at a speed of 1,000 kilometers per hour. So you can imagine such things are taking place in India. Another indigenously prepared rocket was launched. Again, it's the entire fabrication, design, and assembly what took place at IIT Madras. And our ISRO has launched that rocket. So I am playing to you here a link to the TEDx, TEDx forum. There were TEDx again speaker will be there. You can stand to benefit from them. Sudhanshu Manu came here and narrated a story in his own word. Try to get inspired by the story. Please play. Play it all. And also watch it.
Developed India. So I'm not going to be funnier than I already am. I'm not going to be nervous. I'm not going to lie. And sorry, Mr. Carnegie, I absolutely know I'll be able to speak exactly what I wish to speak. We are told that we are in Amrit Kal, a period of decisive 25 years, or less perhaps, for India to attain prosperity with inclusive growth, with the fruits of growth reaching the commonest man. An ancient civilization rising from its shadows of the past, marching to its rightful place in the global platform. It's not a question of whether it's going to happen. It's not a question of whether it's going to happen. It's a question of when. The People's President, APJ Abdul Kalam, has said that dream is not the thing that you see in sleep, but dream is that thing that does not let you sleep. It's up to us now to shape this dream, to take it forward in a way that we do attain what is intended to be attained in Amrit Kal. We march forward with invigorating action and enterprise predicated in the belief that India is going to be a global leader. In The Merchant of Venice, Portia says that if to do were as easy as to know what were good to do, if to do were as easy as to know what were good to do, chapels had been churches and poor man's cottages, princess's palace. In the same vein, if to do were as easy to come and speak and lecture about something, that's not something I'm going to do. I'm talking about dreams with genuine possibilities, dreams which can be turned into reality, dreams which are real dreams, not nightmares or pipe dreams, and which have a demonstrable proof of the pudding. Indian Railways, if I sum up the story, control, subjugation, awakening, unification, stimulation of the need for freedom, independence, and growth. The memory of Gandhiji, British has brought it up to control and subjugate the country, but the memory of Gandhiji using Indian Railways to truncate the long distances of this vast country for people-to-people contact, interaction, and stimulating this spirit of freedom in Indians is one of the factors that took us to our, after decades of struggle, to our freedom. And after independence, it did become an engine of growth, the lifeline of the nation. So there is this romance, and so I stand here in front of you as a railwayman. Once a railwayman, always a railwayman. So I'm a railwayman for life. You would remember that scramble for that window seat as the marvel, the magic of Indian way of life. The microcosm of India passed you by through its people, townships, villages, its waterfalls, the valleys, the deserts. डालती बेहिस चट्टानों पे हकारत की नजर, कोह पे हंसती फलक को आंख दिखलाती हुई, अलगरज चली जाती है बेखौफ व खतर, शायर आतिश नफस दा खून खौलाती हुई. That's a description of Indian Railways at night. And in Tempest, when there were no railways, Antonio says that if travelers never did lie, but fools at home condemn them, that if you're not able to appreciate the wonders that you see from an Indian Railways window, then perhaps you are a prisoner of your own conflicts and contradictions. But is this romance relevant today in 21st century? Yes, absolutely. Because by a far margin, 4 to 5, 6, 7 times, railways are far greener and cleaner than road or air. So while the railway engine, so to say, came much before the IC engine of an automobile or the turbo engine of an airplane, but I'm sure it's going to last them, outlast them. It started with a very modest beginning in 1853, and today where it has reached is 70,000 route kilometers, as you see, more than 23,000 trains, 5.5 billion passengers, 1,500 million tons of traffic, so much so that every person on earth travels Indian Railways at least once. So coming to some brass tacks, because we're talking about Indian Railways of a developed India. So the good news about railways finances is that it's not as bad as we think, it's worse. The expenditure upon the earnings, gross expenditure upon gross earnings, which you would understand has to be much less than 100 for an organization to survive and invest from the surpluses, is hovering around 100, sometimes even going up during COVID and so on. So there is no money to invest. But you also see on the screen that investment in railways have gone up 5 to 6 times since this government took over. So what are we missing? Perhaps my uncle Ghalib has the answer. कर्ज की पीते थे मैं और ये समझते थे कि हाँ रंग लाएगी हमारी फाका मस्ती एक दिन. We drank with borrowed money, with the misplaced thought that my profligacy is going to bring prosperity. No, sir, it's not that. The government has a logic behind it, and the logic is simple that Indian Railways finances are not going to be seen in isolation. Indian Railways is the key for growth of the country because it stimulates manufacturing, it stimulates services, that generates a lot of employment, it stimulates construction, that generates employment, and it brings in a lot of tax revenue to the country. Railways may not get it, so finances, seeing railways finances alone is not what we are going to do. We are going to invest. This investment in railways is going to grow, drive growth of the country. Let's come to first passenger trains of what we are going to see in future. So the image, the recall of an Indian Railways train has not changed. You will agree. The color has gone from red to blue. It's more AC coaches, but it's the same box type structure that we have on our rails. In 2016, a team of Chennai railwaymen had this dream, this angst as to why such a large network like Indian Railways cannot have a modern, aesthetically superior, speedier, technologically superior train. And I was the fortunate man to lead this team, and my thoughts absolutely aligned with them. They had this capability as well as this chutzpah to do something new out of the box. And as I said, I was the fortunate leader. This dream was.
So do you remember this name, Sudhanshu Mani? He was at the verge of his retirement. Only 6 months left for his retirement, and he thought I should give something new to India. And inspired by the thought, what is the speed of light? Light travels at what speed? Approximately 3 lakhs per second. You can correct me, 3 lakh per second? 3 lakh kilometers per second? Approximately it works out to be 3 lakh per second, right? So light travels, and the thought travels faster than the speed of light. The thought, human thought, travels faster than the speed of light. By the time light reaches there, prior to that, you have already implanted a thought on the stuff of your mind, whether that be a wicked thought or a noble thought. You can take it either way. You can take the nobler way and the most wickedest way. A thought once implanted in your mind is bound to lead to an action. If you implant a wicked thought, it will make you, it will force you to do 10 wicked things in life. If you have a very noble thought, it will make you 10 good noble things for yourself, for your country. That's how Sudhanshu Mani was there. And he thought, 9 months left for me to retire. I can go like he was the general manager of the Southern Railways. He was general manager of the Southern Railways. He was getting a huge fat salary. But one simple idea struck his mind, and what noble idea that why should I not give India a faster, more comfortable a train which gives you air conditioned comfort and at a higher speed, so the distances become small. So just one simple idea got into Sudhanshu Mani. I'm on the verge of retirement. After 9 months, nobody will ask me who was I. So he inscribed his name in the history of Vande Bharat. Now Prime Minister has inaugurated about 100 such trains in India now, connecting different destinations. So thought power There's a book called Thought Power, written by a doctor who turned into a monk called Swami Shivananda. He was a medical doctor. And there's a book, small book, please do read that book, that explains to you what is thought power, power of thought. Once a thought gets implanted here, a thought, if once sown, S-O-W-N, sown, a thought sown leads into an action. An action sown leads to a character. So it is a power of thought. The nobler the thought, it will be more enriching. It will be more uplifting. Sow a thought, reap an action. Write down these words of mine. They should keep ringing in our ears. Sow a thought, reap an action. Be analytical minds. Think of it. What I'm saying has logic or not. Sow a thought. S-O-W, sowing, crops, sowing. Sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Please say it scientifically. Sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. And sow a character, reap a destiny. How many of you have given it a thought? Sowing of thought. And it comes at a higher frequency than the speed of light. Many of you must be thinking something or the other. Even now, while sitting in this auditorium, saying Sudhanshu Mani having created a Vande Bharat here for India, he had no selfish motive. In 6 to 9 months down the line, he was going to retire as general manager of the southern India. He could have rested in his, retired life. He would have led a very peaceful and very comfortable life. A general manager of North Southern Railway is a huge, is a big post. Mechanical engineer, and he thought of giving India something, his people something. For the comfort of you and me, he created Vande Bharat. Just one simple, good idea, noble idea. So, Swami Shivananda, that's a divine life mission in Rishikesh. He says, sow a thought, reap an action. You tell me one single action which is not driven by a thought. If one thought comes to your mind, a flash of thought comes to your mind, I want to have a cup of coffee. I want to have food this time. I want to read this time. I want to watch television screen on this time. I want to see and sit in this auditorium at this time. You have sown a thought. Sow a thought, reap an action. You will be driven into an action. One thought coming to your mind can be disastrous. Can create havoc in your mind. Can destroy you. Sow a thought, reap an action. Write down this thing. I'm telling you, this is my lifetime experience. I'm 2 months short of 80 years. Remember this. Sow a thought, reap an action. Critically analyze it. Sowing of thought. Sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. You repeatedly do the same act, and gradually it will become your habit. You don't want to get up in the morning at 4 a.m.? No, doesn't matter. You want to get 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock? If you do it 10 times, it will become a habit. You will get up late only. You will never rise early in the morning. So thought has its power. Each thought is very powerful. Soy thought, reap in action. It's bound to make you act. Soy thought, reap in action. Soy in action, reap a habit. You develop a habit of going to the cafeteria at such and such time for a gossip. You'll repeatedly be forced by that action, and that will delve into habit. Soy a habit, reap a character. You have a tendency to go to the bar at a given time, you become a branded drunkard. Sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. And sow a habit, reap a character. And once you have developed a character, sowing of it will reap a destiny. You'll be destined to be doomed. You'll be destined to make history. You can create history by the simple power of your thought. So Sudhanshu Mani had a simple thought, I am going to retire in 6 to 9 months. Let me give India something. It's for the benefit of each one of you. You must have heard of Vande Bharat, connecting different destinations in India. Simple man, one action, and single-minded person gave you Vande Bharat. I am playing another clip here. One of the alumni of IIT Madras recently donated 238 crores. One alumnus has donated 238 crores. And when asked about his lifestyle, he says, we are not extravagant people. We don't throw away money. We value money a lot. But my company now is worth 1,000 crores turnover. I did my MTech from IIT Madras. I want to give it back to my society. I want to give it back to my institution which made me what I am today. His own startup, his own industry, which has flourished like anything. But who changed that? His destiny was made by the teachers. And he became a good researcher. He started his own startup, and today it's 1,000 crores turnover. He has donated 238 crores to IIT Madras. At IIT Madras, alumni, corpus works out to be a couple of thousand crores. Because they have shaped them into good engineers. They have shaped them into creative beings and not as liability. So, you can replicate the story. It's your choice. You become an asset or a liability to your nation, to yourself, to your parents. For the time being, let me tell you, each one of you is a parasite. You are thriving on your parents' money. You don't deserve comforts, let me tell you. None of you deserve fancy clothing. Hey, look at these ladies. They want to pursue 4 years BTech. Look at their casual attitude. No, please don't stop them. Anyone who wants to leave, even now you can leave. I won't lose anything by your quitting this hall. Each one of you can get up and go. But remember one thing, it will cost you your life. You will have a terrible identity crisis as to who am I? What have I made my life to be? Is my life a hell? Is my life a liability to myself? Am I a liability to my parents, to the society as a whole, and the companies which come here for placements? If tomorrow Wipros and Deloitte come here, if the Infosys come here, and you are found completely blank, you don't know anything to do about data science or about VLSI, none of these companies, they are going to slam the door on your face and you say, nothing doing. No such inefficient people are required. You need to be very, very regular. None of you should be short of 75% attendance. None of you should be found wanting not to be attending the workshops, seminars. Even if a teacher is on leave, he should be seen to be in the library or spending some time in the computer labs or in a monitor system or in a design and fabrication lab or the VLSI. I don't want you to be idling your time. You're only a burden on your parents. Your tuition fee costs them. Your clothing and fooding costs them. Why don't you take pity on them now? Be on your own feet. Be self-reliant. Be independent. Be productive. Be creative minds. And show your country that you are an asset to the country. You are not a liability to yourself. You are not a liability to society. You are capable of doing something good for the nation. We'll just play a very short clip, and I'm giving you this talisman. Sow a thought, reap an action. Don't take it casually. Sow a thought, reap an action. Sow a action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Your character will be known by your habits. You develop a habit if you repeatedly indulge in that particular act. And each time there is a thought behind that action. Each time you swing your hands right or left, you do anything with yourself, there's a thought behind that. So the power of thought is tremendous. Stephen Hawking is a motor neuron disease, incapacitated, bodily, physically disabled, mentally not so agile as you are. Stephen Hawking could give this word, law of relativity. Think about it, ponder on it. You need to be productive beings. You need to be assets to yourself. You should be self-reliant, self-confident. This clip will be played, and I'll tell you only one thing. 75% of the attendance is a mandatory requirement of the university, and scrupulously I'm telling my faculty members to adhere to 75%. Even if you have 1% less, you'll have to repeat the year, you'll have to repeat the semester. Labs will remain open, libraries shall remain open till the time you want. But we want you to be reading all the time, to acquire some productive skills, so at the time of your placements, you don't face any problem. You don't cut a sorry figure. You should be so versatile and so productive that the company should lap you. I want this product from here. Thank you. Carry on.
Of you, thank you very much for your time. And what made you donate this big sum to the college where you studied or did your post-graduation?
Well, there are several reasons. The first reason is that it makes me happy, and happiness is a very good feeling to have, because the happier you are, the healthier you are.
Right.
So that's one. Secondly, I love to promote higher education in the country, in India. IITs are fantastic institutions, and I want to make it affordable for poor children that otherwise cannot afford it.
Right.
And I think I've become who I am to the extent I'm successful is because I studied at IIT, and I got admission to Harvard Business School, and because of IIT and Harvard I became successful. Because. But fundamentally, to start with, it's the IIT that started the whole
Right.
forward movement.
You studied in India, moved to the US, became extremely successful as an industrialist. What will be, in your view, two lessons India can learn from this kind of an experience of Indians becoming extremely successful in the US?
I think India has a legacy of socialism. I think we have to get rid of that, number one. Number two, we have to reduce the role of government in the economy. The concept of the commanding heights of the economy, according to Mahatma Gandhi, it does not work. Unfortunately, government institutions become slow and lethargic, and they are not efficiency oriented. It's not just India, anywhere in the world. If it's a government institution, it's not as driven as a private enterprise. And Indians are capitalists at heart. So superimposing socialism on Indians, you're trying to put something on top that the bottom is not accepting. So I think capitalism is a much more appropriate model for India. So the government should play a lesser role, lesser number of rules and regulations. Any regulation should be limited to environmental health, cleanliness of water supply, sewage treatment, connecting the rivers, providing the infrastructure for people like you and me and other people who are not. For people like you to be productive. That's the job of the government.
Now, you had your undergraduation at IIT Bombay.
Right.
Are you going to donate a larger sum to that institute?
At least the same. Yeah. You're going to get me into trouble. Yes, I will.
What are you leaving for your children? How do they look at this?
They are very happy with what they have. And they have quite a bit. So, like I said, it's not mutually exclusive. Beyond a certain point, it's just money. You have no idea how to spend it responsibly. You can only eat so much. You can only drink so much. If you drink too much alcohol, it's bad for you. You're going to die, right? And if you eat too much, it's the same thing. So, and then if you have these mansions, we used to live in a mansion in New Jersey, 52-acre mansion, and in Princeton, New Jersey. And then one day we looked around and said, we're just two people, husband and wife, living on 52 acres, a 15,000 square foot house, gardeners, housemaids, you name it. This is too much.
Lastly, tell me about the innovations you made. You run two companies which are ranked number one across the world.
Well, the first company was named Shiva Technologies, and that was my first venture. It became very successful, but it was a boutique company. It was not huge. It was highly profitable. It was in a state-of-the-art mass spectroscopy. And we developed technologies, protocols, and procedures to certify materials at purity levels of 99.99999%. First time in the world. Clean materials, ultra clean. Okay.
The state-of-art technology.
State of the art. And I sold it for a lot of money in 2006. Indomem, again, metal injection molding was an emerging technology. And it's easier to emerge in India than in USA. You have a lot of engineers, very bright engineers, very bright people like yourself and like herself, and all they need is encouragement, self-confidence, and tell them you can do it, and they'll do it. So that happened.
I'm going to speak to your wife, Dr. Jagadambal. Jagdamba. When he decided to donate 228 crore rupees to his college, what kind of discussion went in the family?
We have been discussing this. I mean, we have done this before, not in this large sum, but the seed has been there for more than 20 years, right? As we became more successful, as he said and I said the same thing. We are simple people. We don't need a lot of money. We don't spend. I mean, we're not extravagant. That's right. And I came from a poor family, and I did my MBBS in a government college. If it was not for a free education, I wouldn't have been a doctor. So there was a lot of that. So we know where we came from, right? And what the
There's
foundation.
so much to learn. Don't be extravagant. Don't be extravagant. Look at how simple people they are. And they take more pleasure in giving rather than acquisition. India has always been giving to the world. We have contributed immensely towards the world peace, world order. So each one of you should have an attitude for giving and not for acquiring. Each one of you must owe sense of gratitude to your teachers and a society at large at whose cost you are being educated. We have created state-of-art labs. It's up to you how much skill you acquire and how skilled professionals you become and how much wealth you generate out of your creativity and out of your skills. More skilled you become, more money you can generate. The more joy you can share with others, the have-nots, the deprived ones, the impoverished ones. There's so much to do in your country. So always have a sense of gratitude and of giving. Always try to give and never try to acquire. And this gratitude and sense of compassion, concern, care, all these attributes you should imbibe in life. You should care for your fellow brothers and colleagues around you. Care for your fellow beings. Care for the neighbor in your neighborhood. Care for the society. Every year, our NSS reaches out to the slum dwellers here, and regular classes are held for the children so that they are also at par. They can also enjoy the privileges of good food, good books. They have access to all festivities like in Diwali. Everybody will be given 10 candles and half a kg of sweet. Every household should have that joy of celebrating Diwali. So joy is in sharing together. And if you are compassionate, if you have a habit of giving and not acquiring something, if you owe gratitude to somebody, thankful to somebody, these are all virtues that you must imbibe in your life. I wish you become good citizens, good engineers, and you generate a lot of wealth, and out of your lot of wealth, the common Indian also stands to benefit by your research. You simply not should have a B.Tech degree hanging on the wall. You should go beyond that. There is a world beyond that awaiting you. Data science has enormous employability potentials. So also VLSI. It is being underestimated, is not being understood in the right context, what very large circuit integration can do to this world. Our Prime Minister's stress is on semiconductor industry. And we need to focus on that. We want to give the trained manpower to our country so you can make a world of difference in our economy. You can enhance our economy. So be assets to yourself, be assets to your parents, be not liabilities, and try to live simple. Lead a very simple, austere life, no extravagance, nothing, Look at the husband and wife came here all the way from America. They have got huge 35 acres of farm, lot of gardeners around, everything. But they have at the at the base of the heart, they care for the gardeners like family members. This is what value system you should imbibe. Gardeners, human beings, they've been carved out a role to play as a gardener. A servant in the house don't have that bossism over it. They are humans have been given a role in the society to serve you. Have a servant attitude always. Servant attitude. We are the servants of all servants. Gardening, caring for the plants, caring for nature, preserving our planet. So all these things will lead to development of human beings, development of our country. Wish you all luck, and I assure you, we will not be lacking in providing facilities. We will give you the best of facilities, best of labs, best of opportunities, best of placements, everything we want to assure you, but you should be giving your part of it, and your efforts should be matching with our efforts. Then together we can make it happen that you are on top of the world. Thank you.